Dear black people, most white people don't like hip hop as much as you think. We've all played along and, nodded our heads politely in the name of political correctness, but, you know, we don't really like that much. It's actually, we think a lot of it's quite stupid. And this is a message for the mainstream media. A lot of us don't think it's cool. Like, we all think Kanye West is a fucking idiot, along with most rappers. To be fat and obese and stuff like that, well, that's fat, all right. I love Barry White. I love Bob Marley. I think Lenny Kravitz is awesome. He's one of my heroes. Prince is cool. Jimi Hendrix is amazing. Buddy Guy. People like that. The guy who sings Shaft, I can't think of it on the top of my head. He's awesome. Can't think of it on the top of my head. He's a really great producer. Quincy Jones is awesome. Bootsy Collins, Parliament, all that. All those guys are really cool. They're actually really musicians. Rick James is fucking awesome. The whole Motown movement was cool, man. And I love reggae and, old school reggae, right? Because I can kind of hear what they're saying, right? That's a big key why it's not really catching on. But Bob Marley was like reggae blues. People love stuff like that. But as for calling yourselves a bunch of niggers and talking about your ghetto scenes and all this and that, I'll be quite honest, we don't really. I'm tired of hearing about it, especially after Black Lives Matter. It's like we just don't really give a shit, especially after Kanye assaulted Taylor Swift's character and stuff like that, and in the name of Beyonce and all that. Ray Charles is cool too, man. Stuff like that. But they're real musicians, right? They can really Jay-Z. They're all stupid. Rap sucks. It's like mumbling. Even Drake. Drake sounds like a guy's mumbling, right? I like real musicians. They can play their instruments. It's not that hard, trust me. Do stuff. I like disco, like EDM, we call it these days, right? Fun stuff like that. But as for hip hop, it's just I think it's going to become the new jazz because it's just not that cool, right? And just because the minorities and stuff like that are doing it, white people don't feel we have to do things like that out of political correctness, right? We don't have to do shit out of political correctness. If they want to call themselves a bunch of African American slurs and shoot each other up and all that stuff, by all means, let them, right? We're just stop paying attention. We're gonna start doing, I don't know what you call white guy things, white people things, and we'll just start doing that because we're the majority, and they're the minority. As for keep my comments to myself, I would advise you to do the same, right? Because we're the majority, right? So the majority rules, right? So that's what we like. I like blues rock and stuff like that. Like I'm playing Pink Floyd right now and Led Zeppelin stuff. That's all blues infused rock. That's the good stuff. That's what people love. Even up to about the 90s, late 90s, right? The early 2000s, right? Kind of fizzled out there. But that's what people really like. People don't really like, a guy named Fat Boy. Like, to celebrate obesity and being fat, it's like, no, man, I like to work out and keep myself healthy and stuff like that. I love a Frank Rosetta girl, right? A modern version of that, mind you, but we're all sick of rap. We're all sick about hearing about, poor me. Well, meanwhile, you're the one, breaking into people's cars, like you smashed my window, right? You're the one shooting each other up, stuff like that, Like I said, I love that old school R&B, Motown, funk stuff. That's a lot of fun. I love, Bob Marley style reggae, Peter Tosh. I don't mind Buju Banton's, but once again, it's like those guys who sing so deep in heavy metal. I do like Lamb of God. I actually can hear what he's saying. But if it's so deep and I can't hear what you're saying, what's really the point, right? It's the same thing with hard reggae. If you're not communicating your message to a mass audience, what's the point, right? But Bob Marley, you can hear him as clear as a bell. And that guy actually had a lot of prolific things to say, man. Like in Redemption song, it's talks about slavery of the mind. I know what you're talking about, right? But there's it's time for we're going through a shift now, a change, right? Like we can't go back to 70s, 80s, or 90s, but we can always go forward. And I think it's time to go forward from hip hop. Hip hop is like The rest of the world is going through its rock and roll change. It's Australia, all over the world, except for North America, where it's like needed the most, right? Because gang violence is running rampant and stuff like that. So we probably need to change, because I was just talking to a black gentleman, and I just thought to myself, to be a black person just in high school now, it's almost a challenge, because you could become a statistic, or any black person, because of this gang violence, all this other shit. So they blame Marilyn Manson for all these Columbine shootings and stuff like that. What about Ice Cube and all 50 Cent and all these guys that have contributed to gang violence in their mass shootings in their own ways, right? Like, white people flip out and do the shit. But what about this gang violence, the black on black crimes and all that stuff like that, right? So I don't know. I'd rather sit and listen to Bob Marley than I would to, say, the newest 50 Cent thing, right? And I think actually the attire is absolutely stupid. Like, it's just lame. Wearing baseball, like sports attire all the fucking time. I like to wear it here and there, but like 24/7, you look like a goof, an idiot. And once again, hey, white people, I'm not a racist or a bigot or whatever, but we could also just say no. Like, we don't like this shit, and we're not putting up with it anymore, right? And just turn the page. We don't have to like hip hop anymore. Like, I think Cardi B's a retard. Like, I think all the hip hop people are a bunch of dopes. Kanye West, like, I wouldn't want to be in the same room with that guy, because he's a total parasite, right? Like, I know he wants to suck my cock. All the hip hop guys do. It's like, oh, you do hip hop. I'll never do a hip hop. Like, God is my witness, I'll never do a hip hop album. It's like, that's one thing. I'll do an R&B soul, reggae blues thing. I love stuff like that, right? Stevie Wonder's cool, right? Very superstitious, some writings on the wall. Stevie Wonder's amazing, right? And he's got an amazing guitar sound. Like, I love stuff like that, right? But I think hip hop, though, you played yourself, right? You played out, right? You guys got DJ Khaled's going to tell me how to be successful. Like, you're grossly obese, man, right? You're a coronary bypass waiting to have. You could do a KFC thing, but I like all kinds of black music. Some of my favorite musicians are black, but hip hop's not one of them. Hip hop's a menace, man. We're all sick of it, though. We're all sick of that thing that's been going on, but we've been afraid, like, because you'll call us a racist or a bigot. So, or even some black chick told me, like, keep your comments to yourself. I'd advise you to do the same. I guess I didn't know I had this white privilege, but I'm gonna start using it now, right? Like, I'm gonna start using my sphere of influence. I'm a white guy. We're majority rules, right? And we say no more catering to the fucking minorities and that's about, because some, like, in England, they feel like strangers in their own country and stuff. And sometimes I can't even get a pop my own store. So we're going to stop catering to political correctness right now. We're going to start doing things that we like, because, quite frankly, majority rules. And don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of grave injustices in Alabama and all kinds of fucking places like that, and I wouldn't be afraid to address that. Bigotry is not something I support in any way, shape, or form, but I don't have to support mass political correctness, right? Like, we don't have to be afraid, like, oh, well, rap sucks, right? Like, they can't even sing. It's just, it's retarded. It's absolutely ridiculously stupid. It's not even music. Everything's a sample. They don't, like, it's like, it's not real music. I mean, I like disco. If I want to go dancing, I don't want to hear about your fucking ghetto scene or any of this stuff. I just want to go out and have a good time, like a 1970s, 80s disco or early 90s EDM, Euro house thing. I just want to do that when I go to, for a dance or something like that. I'm just out there for a good time. I'm not there to get shot or any of your fucking crap, man. You go do your thing. I'll probably start my own fucking EDM thing or something like that, or whatever the hell you want, disco you. But all hip-hop guys wearing hip-hop attire, anything like that, turned away at the door. I wouldn't let any of you fucking... You know how you snubbed back Sir Paul McCartney, and that handsome guy from Foo Fighters, right? You're too cool to party. None of you will ever, I mean, never, ever be able to party with me, right? Like, that's it. Like, you're not allowed to come to my party, right? Because, you're a bunch of fucking assholes, right? That was really rude of you, right? And then too, like, I don't give a shit. I think you've milked it now. You milked it too far. You've gone too far left, right? Every time I turn on the TV, it's a fucking minority and blah, blah, blah. I go to downtown Toronto. it's all white people. It's the majority's white people. This is fucking ridiculous. And like, you gotta hate on for white males and stuff like that. So, but we've all had enough of catering to, things like Black Lives Matter, Beyonce and stuff like that. Radical Islam is behind all that shit like that. Beyonce's an idiot. Like the blackout is the complete blackout, like all black stuff all the time. It's done, right? Like, hip hop sucks. So it's like, I was like, oh my god, he said that. Yeah, I did. Do I hate black people? Not at all. Actually, I like you guys go to bed. I like to party with you. But as for hip hop, it's a ridiculously stupid form of music. It's like wearing a baseball uniform all the fucking time, like to the nightclubs like that. Like that sucks, man. It's like it's got no class. It's low class, uncouth. It's like Urban Hicks, where are into hip hop and stuff like that. Hip hop sucks, right? I mean, I like some of the dance moves back in the early day, like the worm and stuff like that. That was all fun, but breakdancing, I'm sure we can incorporate that and do maybe line dancing meets breakdancing or something like that. That's fun, right? But as for hip hop itself, hip hop's for faggots.